بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Do you see the chandeliers up there? So this time when we do it, I wanted to shake. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll let it slide. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah al-azim al-khabir al-muta'ali. Alhamdulillah alladhi la tuhjibuhu dhulumat al-layali. Alhamdulillah alladhi arsal jibal al-awali. سبحانه من إله عظيم يغفر الذنوب ولا يبالي. لا إله إلا الله بها نحيا وبها نموت وبها نلقى الله وبها نوالي. وأشهد أن عظيمنا وقدوتنا ومولانا قرة عيني محمد ابن عبد الله عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله أرسله كافة للناس بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا فبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة فكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم فاجزه عنا خير ما جزيت نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن دعوته ورسالته. أما بعد. It is the sunnah of Allah Rabbul Izzah to develop the creation in stages, so that when you're born as an infant, weak, helpless, needy. When you want a drink, you cry. When you don't want a drink, you cry. When you want a hug, you cry. When you don't want a hug, you cry. You're in a perpetual state of weakness, begging in tears. So Allah Rabbul Izzah says, خَلَقَكُم مِّن ضَعْفٍ. We created you in weakness. ثُمَّ جَعَلَ مِن بَعْدِ ضَعْفٍ قُوَّةٍ. And after this age of weakness comes the age of strength. The muscles develop, the bones develop, the mental capacity develops. You become physically stronger, mentally capable, financially able. It is the age of strength. So ثُمَّ جَعَلَ مِن بَعْدِ ضَعْفٍ قُوَّةٍ. So comes the age of strength. And then after the age of strength, ثُمَّ جَعَلَ مِن بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ ضَعْفًا وَشَيْبَةً. And after that strength comes weakness and grey hair. So that if I were to ask you what is the best stage in the 3 stages of life, you would say the days of strength. It is the time of youth. And just so that no one feels alienated, youth is a state of mind. So long as you're feeling young inside, you are young. Walillahi alhamdu wal minna. Because I don't want the daggers from the youngsters or the elders, like. So imagine I had a task that needs completing. Imagine there's a tree that needs chopping. So I take it to that young little infant and I say, sweetheart, chop this tree down for me. So he tries to pick that axe up, but he can't do it. He doesn't have the capacity to complete the task. And if I were to take it to that old uncle in the mosque and say, listen, chop the tree down for me, he'll chop it, but pretty soon he'll end up with a sore back. But if I were to give the axe to a youngster, to a young brother or a young sister, and I say, listen, chop that tree down for me, they'll chop it down good and proper. Because it is the age of action. It is the age of strength. And the saddest part is here, that best age and best stage in life in our times gets chucked in the bin. It gets spent and wasted in the most absurd of things. So if you were to imagine a young person today, and you were to calculate what he does with his life, the bulk of it is a waste. If I could take you, quickly through the life of a young person so that you can become aware of the challenges that young people face and the lives that they lead. So imagine a young individual, he wakes up to an alarm. The alarm is usually on his phone. But the alarm is not an azan. It is the song of a singer, of a pop star, of a musician, of Britney. Do you understand me? So then, as his innocent eyes open, the first utterances he hears, the first seeds planted in the head are seeds of decadence and disobedience to the Dhul Arsh al-Majid and Fa'alul lima yurid. And what you hear affects you. What you read affects you. That is why go search the lives of the most accomplished human beings, and you will find that they wake up very early and they go through what they call motivational exercises. So they read motivational text or listen to motivational talks. That sets the tone for the day. But the youngster, he wakes up to the song of a musician. And as he gets ready, the seeds are already planted, and he has his shower, and then he comes to his wardrobe to choose a garb to wear for the day. And he chooses it based on what would look the loudest, what would stand out the most, what would attract the most attention, what would be the most alluring, what would show but pretend it doesn't show. That's a strange mentality to be in. And then they walk out from here and go to the rest of the world. Can you imagine the life of a young individual? On his phone, he's getting messages. On the billboards, messages of haram and vice and sin and evil. As he goes to work, on the way, in the travel, other young girls, other young guys, all dressed the same, all coming out with similar mentalities. And it is a life full of challenges. And imagine he runs away from it all and comes to hide in the four walls of his house and locks the door and sits on the couch. And as he sits in front of him on a pedestal of honor, exalted and respected, is the nice TV box, which then gives him ideas of how to dress like this, walk like this, talk like this, wiggle like this. Do you understand? It is a challenging way to live. And it is important for us to understand what a young individual goes through, and at the same time to give that individual hope of a better existence. And that is what I want to do with you today, inshaAllah ta'ala. So our story begins many centuries ago. A young child wakes up from a deep sleep. Angelic looking, wonderful little child. And he goes to his father, elderly man, wise, prophet of a father, to narrate a dream he's had last night. So he says, Ya abati, O my father, inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaba والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. Dear father, I saw in a dream 11 stars, the sun and the moon making sajda to me. If your son comes to you with a dream like that, you go, wow, something big's about to happen. So this little Yusuf alayhi salam comes to his father Yaqub, that I saw a dream, 11 stars, the sun and the moon all making sajda to me. So the father is a prophet. Prophets see what you do not see. They have a farasa way beyond that of the normal man. So the protective nature of the father kicks in and tells him, Ya bunay, darling son, la taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatik. Don't mention the story to your brothers. فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا, or they will make a plan for you. They will hatch a design against you. They will concoct a scheme for you. Keep this hidden. And because of this and other events, this father Yaqub alayhi salam became very protective of young Yusuf. And the brothers saw. So they come to the conclusion, إذ قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا منا ونحن عصبة. Yusuf and his brother are more beloved to the father than us. Our father is misguided. The father, a prophet, Yaqub alayhi salam. It shows that when the young is ill-informed, it makes really catastrophic conclusions. So then, what to do? Uqtulu Yusuf, let's kill Yusuf. Their own blood brother. Let's kill Yusuf. And then the other one says, La taqtulu Yusuf. Let's not kill him. Let's put him in a well. And let a traveling caravan come and take Yusuf alayhi salam to another land. So they made the decision. They took Yusuf from the father with an excuse, went and put him in a well. And a caravan is passing by and they send their water person, and the water person puts the bucket inside the well and draws it up, and he sees, Ya Bushra, oh glad tidings, Hadha Ghulam, a young lad instead of water. Now those are days in which slavery was active, so this means it is a person that they can sell and get good money for. So it's bonus, jackpot, a young kid. So as they draw him up, the brothers saw. They saw. So instead of going to defend, instead of the filial ties coming in to say, no, we made a mistake, he's our brother, the Qur'an says, وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. They sold him for insignificant little coins. So Yusuf alayhi salam, the son of Yaqub, the grandson of Ishaq, the great-grandson of the Khalil of the Dhul Arsh al-Majid, is now a slave being transported to the land of the pharaohs. And there they parade him in the slave market, and one of the nobles of Egypt decides to purchase him on the condition أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا, that he will either benefit us or we will adopt him as a son. Now I want you to think with me carefully. Yusuf comes from a decent family, a prophetic family, and he lives in an environment where he's surrounded with people of faith. But all of a sudden now, he is taken from his homeland to a new land in which he is the absolute minority. One Muslim amidst the land of the pharaohs. Normally, you behave because people watch you. You know, uncle sees, auntie sees. If they see you smoking, they say, Aib, you know, haram alayk, what are you doing, kid? You know, ihtarim nafsak, behave a little bit, what are you doing? If they see you dressing funny, they go, you know, a bit of shame. If they see you talking to the opposite gender in a strange way, someone chastises you, someone gives you the looks, someone gives you the stares, someone goes, you know, what are you doing? And you do things out of the shame of people. What will they say? What will uncle say? But now uncle's not there, and he's away. Second, he's away from mom and dad. to teach, to counsel, to advise, to gauge, to monitor, to adjust, alone in another land. There are similarities in his life and in yours. You've come out of the land of your forefathers to a new land you're calling home. The same scrutiny that would have been back in the traditional homeland isn't available here. So it becomes easy to slip under the radar and try to do a haram here and a wrong there. And then Yusuf alayhi salam, on top of these challenges, is a slave. You know, sometimes you don't do wrong things because you say it doesn't suit my character. I'm a prince. How can I do that? Yusuf is a slave. Do you understand? Self-respect should have been killed. Boy, do this. Kid, do this. Do you understand? The master sleeps up there and you are there in the barn. It should have damaged him psychologically. But instead, Yusuf alayhi salam grows up as an awesome individual. And let's take it further. Here's the next problem. Beauty out of this world. You know, you get beauty, they call it head turners. Have you seen those? And no one's nodding on this one. You know the type the person walks in and you go like that? Don't. But I'm explaining the point. They are Yusuf wasn't a head turner. Alayhi afdal salatu wa atammu taslim. You want to see beauty? Watch. So there's a room full of ladies sitting, reclining on cushions. There's a fruit in each person's hand and a knife to peel it. So Yusuf enters. Alayhi afdal salatu wa atammu taslim. The Qur'an says, listen. فلما رأينه أكبرنه وقطعن أيديهن وقلن حاش لله ما هذا بشرا. And when he entered the room, they look at him like, oy, oy, oy. Mesmerized by him, hypnotized, beglued, enchanted. They're stuck at the face of Yusuf, Subhan al-Khaliq. And they're cutting the fruit and the fruit finishes and they cut their hands and they can't feel it. Do you see beauty so hypnotizing? Yusuf alayhi salam has got this other challenge on top. And then to make matters worse, the lady, the master of the household has fallen for him. You know, the neighbor's girl could like you. You come home, you're safe. If you want to be. You know, here it's the master of the household. If he disobeys, it's a calamity. If he obeys, Allah's unhappy. Do you see the challenges? And look at what happens, the story. The Qur'an says, she asks him to enter a room, وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ, and locked the doors, وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ, and said, here for you. And don't think Yusuf doesn't have feelings. The Qur'an says, وَهَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا. She had an inclination, a passion, desire towards him, and these feelings are going in the heart of Yusuf. And لَوْلَا أَرَّآ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ, had he not seen the sign of his Lord, he would have faltered. Do you see? So he says, Astaghfirullah, and moves towards the door, and out of a miracle of prophethood, the lock opens. So he wants to come out, and she grabs the collar, and as he pulls, the shirt tears from the back. I want to stop here a second. For a lady, a noble woman, who is the wife of a noble of the Aziz of Misr, this is not your girl on the street. She's high class. For her to come to that physically aggressive status where she's trying to tear the guy's shirt to grab him means she's already tried all the steps that lead to that. She's already batted her eyelids. She's already done the giggle. She's already stood by the door and, you know. But Yusuf is Yusuf sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then come out of, anger to the level, frustration that now she has to grab the person. But Yusuf alayhi salam doesn't yield to haram. Although he's away from family, although he's away from his people, although he's in a foreign land, although he's a slave. Not second-class citizen, 10th class citizen. Slaves have no rights. They have one right, to work. And then although the attraction is so immense, he's so attractive that it's unimaginable not to be attracted to him. Although the sin and the opportunity is so invasive and pervasive and in his house, but Yusuf alayhi salam resists, and Allah Rabbul Izzah honors him. I will finish quickly inshallah ta'ala. So for resisting a haram, Allah Rabbul Izzah gave him the dominion of Egypt instead. And understand this, young Muslims. Today you have the same type of problems. Sin hasn't gone to your neighbor's house, it has come into your bedroom. You call it a laptop. Sin has come onto your pillows, you call it mobile phones. You sit there watching TV till you feel like you're vomiting, so you go, oh khalas, you click. And then there's nothing there after a few hours, so khalas, then you go to your laptop and you sit and you watch. Halal and haram, may Allah Rabbul Izzah guide you to halal. Then when nothing is left and you're on the pillow, you're still playing with your little phone. Sin has come into your bedrooms. Sin has become pervasive and invasive and engulfing and all overtaking. And this time, watch two things. Watch falling for the sin, especially in seclusion. Listen to this hadith. And وَرَبُّ الْكَعْبَةِ, it should make the hairs on the back of your neck stand. Listen to the warning of the Sadiq al-Masduq. لَأَعْلَمَنَّ أَقْوَامًا مِّنْ أُمَّتِي, I know groups of my ummah, يَأْتُونَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِحَسَنَاتٍ أَمْثَالِ جِبَالِ تِهَامَّةَ بَيْضَاء. They will come in the day of judgment with good deeds like mountains glowing bright. Not little too good, a mountain of good deeds. So Allah Rabbul Izzah says, فَيَجْعَلُهَا اللَّهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. And Allah Rabbul Izzah will make it perish in the wind. It will disappear. So the Rasul says, أَمَا إِنَّهُمْ مِنْ إِخْوَانِكُمْ. These are not ordinary, they're your brothers, Muslims, and not ordinary Muslims. وَيَأْخُذُونَ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ كَمَا تَأْخُذُونَ. And these are Muslims, the type that wake up in the middle of the night and pray. They're good Muslims, but what's their sin? وَلَكِنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ إِذَا خَلَوْا بِمَحَارِمِ اللَّهِ انْتَهَكُوهَا. But there are people that when they're alone, they overstep the boundaries of Allah. So in seclusion, when you're there on your phone, remember, Allah will delete all your good deeds if you're not careful. Allah will, if you grow the jurrah, the bravery against the Dhul Arsh al-Majid, that you know He's watching and you feel He's watching and you persist. One is out of fear and mistakes in you, but out of insistence, fear that. And second, bushara, for those of you that have the capacity and ability to hold back from the haram, listen to the glad tidings. The Prophet, and I will end with this hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Inna min waraikum ayyam as-sabr. O Sahaba, after you will come the days of patience, the days of difficulty, the days where it is hard to be a Muslim and righteous. But للمتمسك فيها بما أنتم عليه أجر 50. But whoever in those days of difficulties and in those days of vice and in those days of the internet, if in those days whoever holds on to what you have held on to, if they hold on to the deen as you are holding, O Sahaba, لهم أجر 50, they will get the reward of 50. So they said, Ya Rasulullah, 50 minna am minhum, the reward of 50 of us or 50 of them. So the Rasul said, Bal minkum, no, 50 of you, my Sahaba. And whoever leaves a haram for the sake of Allah and returns it for a halal, Allah Rabbul Izzah replaces it with unimaginable things. The ashab gave up their homes for Islam. Allah gave them the dominion of the earth instead. Sulaiman alayhi salam gave up his horses for the sake of Allah. Allah gave him the wind to command. Yusuf alayhi salam gave up a haram woman. Allah gave him the dominion of Egypt instead. Leave the haram that you're in Warabbul Kaaba. Allah will replace it with what you didn't anticipate. May Allah guide and guide you. فَقُلْتُ مَا قُلْتِ إِن تَكُ حَسَنَةً فَمِنَ اللَّهِ وَإِن تَكُ سَيِّئَةً فَمِن نَفْسِي وَالشَّيْطَانِ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.